Okay, you owe me 1 minute at lunch.
That's fine.
We're done.
Serious? You guys should.
Okay. Cool. So we don't have like a focus fishbowl, right? We'll just...
Hopefully this provoked some ideas in you, or you can start
Right,
with
no,
a
but
brand,
I mean we can just go
you
from
can start
there.
with a brand new question. You can shift into talking about the book, whatever you want.
So, like what Emily was saying about her parents having a GPS tracker and how that really bothers her, and so do you think that technology makes us have more freedom, or do you think it limits us? Do you think it gives people more control over us or less?
Well, I think that, like, with the whole GPS tracker thing, it kind of shows that, like, I mean, while maybe the reasoning could be, like, we don't want you to get kidnapped, I think it's also kind of, like, it limits the amount of people, like, the amount of trust and an open relationship that people can have with one another. So I think, honestly, for Emily, if you sat down with your parents, or if you're just honest on where you were, like, and didn't lie to them at all. Like, I'm pretty honest with my parents on where I am.
definitely lied to them.
Yeah, I know, but, like, if you're completely honest and they see that you're being honest, they might not do that.
Yeah, I think that, like, answering your question more, I think that technology makes people feel a lot more free than it actually does, but in actuality, it's, like, things like that, and things like the feed, I feel like it's, like, the farther we get with, like, advancements and stuff, I feel like the more trapped we are. Because, like, in feed, like, they can't even think for themselves, you know? Like, that's pretty messed up. And, like, the whole GPS thing, I feel like it's like Sharp was saying, I don't know, like, who was there, but for the Koyana Scotsy thing, I remember she was telling us that she felt bad for us because it's, like, harder to break away these days. Because, like, you can't just say, like, oh, like, the car broke down, you know? You have to be, like, your parents would be like, well, why didn't you call? Like, everyone has cell phones.
You can't
Everyone
just go
has
to
technology.
college. You have to Skype your parents.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that technology, like, just in terms of physical freedom, it does limit you because you have to, like, you always have a cell phone, your parents always know where you're at, but I also feel like it does give you more, like, freedom in terms of knowledge and stuff. Like, in Wags a Dog, it was on TV, so everyone believed it, but nowadays you could go on the internet and you could actually, like, look up the stuff that they were doing, and you would be able to, like, get ideas that you could formulate yourself because you would have more resources to be
Yeah,
able to
see,
do
like, with that, I feel like, it does give you more freedom to, like, make up your mind for yourself if you, like, have both sides of an issue. But also, if you're being, like, loaded with all this, like, corporate crap and, like, marketing and stuff, then I think that they basically make up your mind for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true a lot in America in terms of technology. I mean, I definitely think, like, the technological climate here is, like, scary. But I mean, like, there's other places in the world, I feel like, where technology gives people more freedom than it does here. Like, I feel like we're oversaturated with technology, so now it's limiting us. But, like, there's this movement, like, I forget what it's called, but I think it might be called, like, a laptop per child or something.
Oh, yeah.
That's, like, this movement where they want to give cheap, like, really strong, sturdy laptops to kids in third world countries. Like, literally, like, you could drop it on the ground and it doesn't break. And, like, exactly. So it's like suddenly a kid in, like, an Indian village can have Google and can find out about the world for the first time. I feel like that's freeing. So I think it depends on sort of where you are. Anybody else have, Natalie, do you feel like technology makes you freer?
Well, if you have more technology, well, okay, so you know how you're saying that, like, if we go out, our parents will be like, oh, you have to call us, like, that's limited. But, like, if you think about it, like, would they let us go out in the first place if we didn't have a cell phone?
That's a good point.
Probably.
Well, people have been, like, kids in generations before us have been, like, going out without cell phones, and their parents would just have to trust that they were back.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think what CJ was saying about technology limiting trust actually is true because your parents always have to know where you are because they have the ability to do that. Like, they didn't used to, so they would have to trust you, but now it is more of a limiting thing.
Do you think that our parents would have our parents, the way they react to our use of technology, do you think that would have been different if they had some of the same things when they were growing up? Like, do you think that we'll be the same way with technology and our kids the way they are with us?
I think like you can't really predict the way that technology is going, because I think maybe technology can lead to like faster technology, like the technology we have now, like more and more people will know more things and they can look up things. So it's just creating more opportunities for like some kid that maybe never would have become a scientist or invented something, like he could do that because he had so much technology at his fingertips. So I think that you can't really tell where technology will be, like when we're adults. You can only, I mean, I'm not sure. I just think it's really not like the weather where you can kind of forecast it.
Right, that's totally true. But like, I guess what I mean is, if you were an adult right now and you had a kid, would you want them to have a smartphone? Would you want them to be able to have the entire world?
I don't know what I'm gonna want like my kid to have, but I know that I like if I'm like shocked with how my kid like uses technology, like I'll be glad. Like I don't want to be like the parents in Feed where they like talk exactly like the kids and they have everything that the kids have. Like I think that it like to still have some kind of like shock value and be like, well, like is my kid really doing this? You know, I think that to question technology, I think that's the only way that people can like be responsible with it.
Definitely, you have to be able to.
I think the thing about technology is that it's always advancing and we're always getting like new things. And like the iPhone wasn't around 5-10 years ago, and like so it's just progressing so fast that your parents, like when you're an adult, you never are going to be as advanced with technology as your kids are, because there will be new technology.
Gabe and Emily Billings, see me after class.
That your kids will have that you didn't have when you were that age. And I feel like with Feed, it's almost like they've reached the peak of technology and there's really nowhere else for it to go. And so just every generation is the same because nothing new is happening.
I want to get back to like what Sophia was saying about how like the parents speak like the kids, and I think it's like now that technology and like Feed is so like advanced that actually people without the feeds are like more intelligent now because they can think for themselves, and they actually like Violet, she has like a really good vocabulary and like
Her dad.
yeah, and like all of Titus's friends were getting like mad at her for like using all these big words, and like I don't know, like so yeah, I think like it's like the other way around now where the poor people are more educated than the rich people.
Because like the rich people are really complacent.
Well, yeah, and the poor people actually think for themselves.
Yeah. What about the whole thing that Violet's feed is killing her? Like, what do you guys think of that? Do you think that that's plausible that technology could reach a point where she is actually dying because she's malfunctioning?
Was that because of the hack?
I think it was because she had an early
she had it-
feed.
No, because she had it implanted in her brain like later than you're supposed to, because she, like her brain wasn't necessarily fully developed, but like I think most people have the feed implanted like when they're
really young.
fetuses or infants, and so they have the feed and it like grows with their brain, but because she had it later, she
It,
kind
like,
of
wasn't
already
synced
had
with
her
her.
ideas and she had her view on life before she had the feed, so it couldn't like adapt to her as well as it adapted.
And then once
Okay.
once it did get hacked. So
You gotta cut it off right there. Before anybody walks out the door, the desks need to be exactly where you found them.